Hello, everyone, and welcome to Community Connections. I'm Marnie Yule, your host, Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce, and we are here, PVTV 1056, high definition. You can see it on Sparklight or on the web. And that's another one, Prescott Valley Chamber-az.gov. Did I get that one right, Mark? I mean, I'm trying to, because it used to be pvaz.net, and if you go there, you're probably going to be directed to the right website.
Hopefully.
But we're learning that, we're trying to get everybody to start using the new one,
Exactly.
.gov. That's what we are.
Yes.
So joining me now is Jerry Ferguson. He is the Community Prevention Officer and Chaplain with our Prescott Valley Police Department, a dear friend of mine. His law enforcement career goes back quite a few years. I'm not going to say how many, Jerry, because we've got to keep everybody guessing.
Thank you.
But we both were started out in the same state.
Yes.
So it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much, Marty.
Oh, it's always, you're just a joy to work with. I just love working with you.
For a couple of years, we were in the same agency, just different times.
Different times, but not too far different. But let's keep everybody guessing. Okay, we're going to talk about badges and bubbers coming up. It's short time period. It's this Saturday, May 21st.
Yes.
So a couple of days, but we still want to make you aware of what's going on, and how you can take the kids out and be part of a really fun, wonderful event.
We appreciate that very much. It is Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Fane Park. We have all kinds of agencies assisting us. Everything in the county is working with the police department.
Anything with a badge?
Yeah, well, badge of some kind or another, or the
Right.
school system.
Oh, wonderful.
The school system's also doing it, but we've got Chino Valley, Prescott, YCSO, nothing out of state, the game, Fish and Game. There's just a lot of agencies that work with us on this. It's the first time we've done this in 3 years.
I know.
And we've had good crowds before. We're anticipating upwards of 300. We have 200 fishing poles for those that don't have them, but those that have their own, want to bring their own, they can do that.
Okay.
And it'll, like I say, starts at 8 o'clock, or 9 o'clock, and it ends at noon. We're going to have food trucks, all kinds of stuff there. So it'll be a good day for the family, children, parents, and law enforcement, and all these other agencies there.
So you come together and fish with the kids.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I mean, that's what
we
you'll
call
be
it,
out there,
badges
Jerry.
and
You'll be out there
bobbers.
with a fishing pole, fishing alongside one of the kids from our community. And as you said, we're well represented of all of the agencies,
Yes.
which means all of the communities are involved and welcome to bring the kids out. It's a free
Exactly.
event.
Yes, but we would encourage people to bring their own water, wear sunscreen,
Oh,
be
absolutely.
prepared for a morning of fun in the sun. Right now, we don't see any rain or any clouds, so come prepared to save yourself. Take the fish. No, we actually throw them back, but they get a chance to at least catch one or two.
Catch
or
one,
three.
yeah. So it's catch and release,
Yes.
as we call it.
Yes,
as fishermen.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Right. So ask you this: do you require a fishing license?
No.
So and there's no charge to fish, so it's
Correct.
free fishing too.
It's free for people to come whenever they can. They're going to stock the lake at Fane the night before, so there'll be
Well, I have a tough
plenty of
question for
stock
you.
there. What kind? I have no idea.
That's what I was going to ask you. What kind of fish will we
I'd
be
rather
catching over
answer it.
there?
Won't be any whales.
No way. No swordfish.
Yeah, no swordfish.
Pretty much safe with sharks.
Right. No gars.
Yeah. So I know the parking is limited at Fane Park.
Yes.
So how are we recommending people get there?
They will not be parking in Fane Park. They're
Okay.
going to park on 2nd Street, and shuttles will be taking them down the hill to the lake, and they'll bring them back up again.
Okay.
So even us that are working there have to park up on the hill there on 2nd. There'll be marked parking there on 2nd Street, right near the intersection of Fane and what goes down through there.
Kind of like what we do when we do the stroll through Valley of Lights.
Exactly.
Although we don't have a shuttle, we make everybody walk.
Right,
But
that
it's
first night,
beautiful
but it's-
coming down that.
It's exactly that.
Down that roadway, so you'll be
Right.
shuttling. So that's
Right.
it's very limited down there.
And it's going to be gorgeous setting, though. Like I say, the
Oh,
morning.
I love Fane Park.
And it will be good temperature. When I left the house this morning, it was 68 or 69. That was this morning. So it will be time for sun and protection and enjoy yourself.
Well, and that's true. Bring water.
Yes.
And bring sunscreen,
Yes.
hat coverings. I mean,
Right.
some need a little more covering on your
Right,
head than
right.
others. But even I'm there with a. Would you bring me a visor?
This is the weapon.
That
we're
is a
gonna be using.
weapon. Well, hold that up so we can get a good picture of that. Do you know how to use that, Jerry?
Yes.
Is this yours?
No.
No,
The
okay.
department had, this is number 3 of 190 that they have. We hand those out, and
But they
they'll
are-
probably take their license or some kind of ID form to make sure we get these back.
I
when we
see. It's
hand
it's
back to them.
loaned.
So it
It's
is on loan to them.
loan.
They don't get to keep them.
Yes, but you know, there's plenty of fishing areas. I walk over at Mountain Valley Park.
Oh, yes.
And I see a lot of folks fishing out there. So,
Yes.
you know, you might even want to check out our local retailers to see if that's maybe something you want to do later on once your kids kind of get the
Exactly.
hang of it. They might like being outdoors
They'll
and
enjoy
doing
that,
a little
I'm
fishing.
sure.
I think fishing is one of the most relaxing things you can do.
I do not go fishing. I go to try to catch fish.
Yes.
Growing up was not that. My folks, my brothers, they loved it. They would always send me downstream because
Oh.
I was too nervous and it would scare the fish. So they would just send me out of sight while they caught the fish.
You know, a lot of happy memories are made with families and fishing with their
yeah.
kids for the first time. I remember being at my mom and dad's place, and they were in Northern California,
Sure.
and we took my son fishing, and he had a little Mickey Mouse rod. You know,
Yes.
I mean, it was cute, but no, we didn't think he'd catch anything. First thing he did was catch a fish like that on that little Mickey. I mean, you should see, and I still have that picture of this, 8-year-old boy holding this little.
He's showing us up.
Yes, exactly. So
Well, we've had some great pictures from previous years.
Absolutely.
And we'll have cameras there again to take pictures, so they're going to be aware of what's going on and maybe show up in a newspaper or some kind of a
never know.
media release or something like that.
Well, it's a wonderful way to spend
So-
the morning, especially with our local law enforcement and agencies.
Yes.
Or law enforcement, first responders, those that wear a badge.
Like you
Badges
say,
and
badges
bobbers.
and bobbers, that's what it is.
And
If you
bobbers.
have a badge, we're including them in the group,
So a good way to
And we
come out and meet them,
appreciate
too.
it. Yes,
Meet our
yes, that good
community.
interaction. Well, it's kind of like Coffee with a Cop. It's a means for the citizens to get to know these professional people that they don't see under other circumstances.
In good
except
circumstances.
emergencies.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Fun. So this is Saturday, May 21st from
9 to noon.
9 to noon.
Fane
and
Park.
Fane Park, and you don't want to miss it. A couple of things we do want to mention. Coming up, we've got Police Citizens Academy, and
Yes.
that's July 11th through the 15th.
Correct.
8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can still register for that, our
Yes.
high schoolers,
Yes.
by calling Jody Mullins.
Correct.
And her number, you just gave it to me, is 928-772-5164. That's a
Correct.
great experience. And then, according to Jerry, plans are currently on the table for the next Police
Adult-
Citizens
yeah, the
Academy
Police
for adults.
Citizens Academy, exactly.
And I did that, and that was really a lot of fun.
Yes.
Again,
Anything we can do that builds bridges into the community in a positive way is really what we're interested in.
oh, Jerry, you're a great representation
Well,
of that.
thank
So
you very
thank you
much.
so
It's an
much.
honor.
Thank you for joining us. I'll see you out at Badges and Barbers this Saturday. Thank you. Short break. We'll be right back.
We develop quality citizens who keep our core, our country, and our communities side by side on the winning side. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. So you can always find people who are helping. Thank you to all the first responders who put their lives in danger to help us when my brothers and sisters and mom and dad and grandpa and grandma need them.
Thank you, first responders.
We look out for the helpers because they look out for us.
At the end of the day, this is what I signed up for as a first responder, and this is what I love to do. And I'm going to continue going to work day in and day out and providing help to those that need it.
Thank you, first responders. Thank you, first responders. Thank you, first responders. Love you. Mwah.
Be safe, look after yourself, and look after one another. Thanks.
And welcome back to Community Connections. My next guests are Deanna Eder, Director of Marketing and Development, and Leah May, Director of Outpatient Behavioral Health Services at Polera Health. We're going to be talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, which is observed during the month of May every year. And so I first asked you when we were meeting a little bit before the show, when did this start? When was actually May recognized as Mental Health Awareness Month?
So this was started in the United States in 1949, and it was just to increase awareness around mental health. And we all face mental health, right, in one way or the other. So it was just to increase awareness.
Okay, and so has it become more important to have awareness of mental health? I mean, we've watched a lot happen in the past few years with COVID and so many people going through so many things, being able to talk about them. Do you feel like right now is the perfect time to have this conversation?
Absolutely. I think post-pandemic, we've learned to cope with things that we never could have imagined, right? And so to raise the mental health awareness of everyone in our community, and make sure that people are checking in with themselves and doing self-care and checking in with their neighbors and their family and friends. It's really important. And the stigma behind mental health, I think, has greatly reduced post-pandemic also, because we realize we've all struggled.
Absolutely.
I think one thing that COVID really brought to light is it's all ages, right? From the very littles to the older adults that really have been isolated in a way that those different age groups were never isolated in those ways before. So it's really become understood that it doesn't matter how old you are, right? That there's needs for mental health awareness and being sure that we're taking care of each other.
Absolutely.
But there always has been. I mean, we can go back and look at, years and years and different diagnoses and things like that. But the fact is when you have to live day to day, deal with everyday activities, not everybody handles them in the same way. And could be a variety of things. Could be how you were brought up. I saw a little meme on Facebook, and sometimes you say, oh, well, that's a great place to see it. But it brought the types of things together on how somebody's light can be put out. We all start out as equal young kids, but then the how they're raised, the situations they come through versus somebody else.
Right.
And they may have their light put out, and yet being kind and recognizing that and giving them support to, maybe it's to get help, maybe it's to have talk to somebody. A friend of mine once said that I think everybody should go to therapy and talk to somebody, because everybody has situations that they've come through and dealt with that may have packed them a certain way, and you don't even know what's inside. It's not like quit thinking of mental health as being crazy, which is right?
Absolutely. It's actually part of our physical health and our mental health. It all is aligned, and as long as it's all working good, we're feeling good, right? But if we have one little thing that goes sideways, guess what? It affects everything. It affects everything.
Well, then tell me what you do over there at Polera as Director of Outpatient Behavioral Health Services. And I have to say, Polera Health is now, used to be known as West Yavapai Guidance Clinic, which, I love the people over there. We opened the crisis stabilization unit that, to me was a godsend for the community and for our law enforcement and for our community members. Yes. And so a lot of things you do over there, but what exactly is your position?
Right, so I oversee the outpatient services. We have 5 locations to serve all ages. We do have some that are just kids clinics and some that are just serve adults, but we have a Chino Valley office, Prescott and Prescott Valley, so we can see clients anywhere. And so I oversee all the services that go out of those clinics, and the therapists and the groups that we offer, and just make sure staying in tune with our community and what they need. And sometimes the needs are different based on where, right? Chino Valley may be having something prevalent in their community that's impacting everybody there that we're not seeing in Prescott Valley. So really being sure that we're meeting the needs of the community. Whichever location it may be.
When would somebody seek the services of Polera? It seems like it's always when you're in crisis. but is there an opportunity before crisis to seek services at Polara?
Oh, absolutely. I think that is what goes so well with Mental Health Awareness Month, because sometimes people don't realize they need help till it is a crisis.
Right.
And so now by bringing it of like, wow, maybe I could go talk to someone before I'm starting to feel like something's not going well. We get a lot of parents who are just feeling really stressed and challenged and don't realize, well, there is help for parenting as well. You're going through a lot because your kid's going through a lot. So once that awareness comes out where it's like, okay, I'm not crazy, I'm just having a really hard time, and there's services for that. Or the older adults, we were talking about the senior peer
Yes.
program. I don't know if you want to speak about that, but before it gets to a crisis situation. But a lot of people don't realize that. And so doing this outreach is so important so that we can really support them before. And then, of course, during and after.
Just yesterday, I shared a post on my personal Facebook page about our event that we did last week with the movie My Ascension. And I had a young woman who I knew grew up through the system or through the high school program over in Prescott reach out to me yesterday, and she's like, "I need services." So I put it out on my personal page, and she's like, "I need something." And so I gave her our information, and she's calling and setting up an appointment. So it's just reaching out one person at a time, truthfully.
Right. Not being afraid to have the conversation, which is what you and I talked about.
Yes.
Not sweeping things under the rug and say, oh, it'll be okay. You know, I think our young people, well, our community as a whole, through the pandemic, have experienced something like never before. And so to deal with that moving forward.
Yes.
And how do you get back to what our normal is going to be? And maybe talking to somebody helps you get to that, what your normal is going to be.
Yes,
You know.
absolutely.
I don't think people really realize the importance of the human connection face to face and in person.
Yes.
It was so great at first to have the Zoom and all of the things to keep us connected, but the more that it went on, I mean, it just feels so different to be
Yes.
in person and connected, and I don't think people really understood that in the same way that they do now.
Well, it's interesting. We have graduations coming up this week, you know, with the Bradshaw Mountain High School, Go Bears, Chino Valley, all of our high schools. And those students started out a normal school year, spent 2 years, 2021, in a COVID-type situation, and then came back for their senior years in somewhat of a traditional school year. That has got to be the weirdest makeup of their educational high school years that I could have ever imagined.
Right.
You know, start out normal and somewhat on the normal traditional way. And so, again, real quick, you mentioned services from youth to
End of life,
parenting
yeah.
to seniors.
Yes.
How would they access any information on those type of programs?
Sure. So we have a couple different things going on. We have a crisis stabilization unit, and that's in Prescott Valley behind Tractor Supply. Anyone in crisis can walk through our doors 24/7. Doesn't matter the crisis. You can call our phone number, 928-445-5211, or you can go to our website, polarahealth.com.
Okay, Deanna, we could have a conversation for hours on this. Deanna and Leah, thank you so much for joining us, and I look
you.
forward to, thank you for supporting everyone out there, Mental Health Awareness Month during the month of A. Let's help all of our friends and neighbors and family. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
How prepared is your family if a wildfire shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or an earthquake? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Make a plan today.
Hey, right, welcome back to Community Connections. I'm joined by John Duncan, my dear friend. I just love to see you. Who happens also to be the development coordinator for. I just gave you a promotion.
Yeah.
With Northland Cares. Hi, John. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, what do you do as development coordinator for Northland Cares?
Development coordinator is basically someone that helps out with grants, writes grants, and also helps out with fundraisers and getting some money into Northland Cares so that we can actually assist people with any cost that has to do with testing, any cost that has to do with any type of medical care.
And Northland Cares, the organization, does what?
Northland Cares is actually an HIV, AIDS, and STI clinic in town, and we try to provide as many services for free for the community as possible.
Right. How long have they been around?
You know what? So as development coordinator, as development coordinator, I actually have to go back on the list and find out actually the whole history. So the actual organization that it started with, that it merged with, was started in 1992. And then it evolved into what Northland Cares is now in 2002.
Right.
And then we've been around for 20 years as a actual clinic serving the community.
Okay.
And basically, our biggest mission is to make to test as many people as possible, give them the education that they need in order to help them with their healthcare needs when it comes to HIV/AIDS and STIs. And most of them are curable right now. Especially with like hepatitis C, which we can assist people with, and also syphilis, gonorrhea, and HIV and AIDS is not a death sentence anymore, which is why we have an event coming up, which is right before the June 5th is a National Day of long-term survivors of HIV.
That's June 5th.
That's June 5th.
Okay.
But before that, we actually have Aiden Park coming into town on the 3rd over at Embry-Riddle at the Davis Learning Center over at Embry-Riddle, and he's going to be performing. He is actually a HIV positive person that is very prominent now and is actually an up-and-coming star on a national scene. He's also an award-winning speaker for motivational speaker, and he's
a comedian.
He's a comedian. Yeah, he's great. He actually has a special right now on Peacock, the streaming service, that actually just premiered last week.
So, but you can actually YouTube him and see a little bit about who he is. And,
definitely.
And then joining him is John Aragon.
Yes, John Aragon
also a comedian.
He's actually a comedian.
I love comedy.
I know. John Aragon is actually an interesting story, and he's going to be in the show, but he's actually a survivor from being kidnapped as a child. And he's turned all of that into a comedy routine, and he tells his story through that.
That's probably how he has learned to deal with that. Such a traumatic childhood event.
Exactly.
And then how do we deal with things and make them serve our purposes? Just like we were talking with, Deanna and Leah earlier in the show, with something
mental health.
How do you, readjust and your sails, so to speak, in work? And both these gentlemen here have quite a story.
Right.
And yet have turned it into comedy.
Exactly.
Which a lot of people can identify with and then feel good about listening to them.
And be able to be survivors of things and be able to be prominent and successful people of the community.
Sure, because you don't know who's dealt with that also.
Exactly.
So that them telling their stories could help somebody else who's maybe have not dealt with maybe those buried memories. A lot of mental health stuff that's going on here in the show today. But it's crazy. but it's funny.
It's basically turning those things into positives. And actually, I had the pleasure of interviewing Aiden for Five Senses magazine. So there's an article just basically detailing his life. And
shameless plug for Five Senses magazine. I'm just going to tell you.
But I mean,
John.
in the article, it basically, I got to interview him. He basically was on the streets. I'm talking about Aiden Park now. He basically was on the streets, homeless.
He looks fairly young.
He's in his 40s.
Okay.
And I think we never talked about age.
He's fairly young. I mean, being back. I mean, I remember working at the time and when AIDS was first discovered and started, and He doesn't look like he was born yet.
No, yeah.
But
well,
tell us, let me
he
really
actually-
quick, because I
yeah,
don't want to
sorry,
run out of
sorry,
time.
sorry.
We're going to talk about this. John and I just go off on any kind of tangent. So Friday, June 3rd at 6:30 is at the Davis Learning Center for Embry-Riddle.
At Embry-Riddle, and then we're going to have another show in Cottonwood.
Right, okay.
Because we have 2 clinics for Northland Cares. So we have one in Prescott and one in Cottonwood, and the other one is in Cottonwood over on the main stage.
On main stage, okay, and you can buy tickets online?
You can buy tickets online. You can also buy tickets through TicketLeap, and you can also go to northlandcares.org to be able to purchase any tickets for the specific show, and also the other show that we have at the end of June, right before Northland Cares has a testathon. We're doing a drag show to promote that.
Oh, okay. But tickets online are $20, at the door $25,
Yes.
so save $5.
Yes.
And they also have that cute little QR code.
Yeah,
you can just
QR
like
yeah.
beam your phone at it. And
Exactly.
I've been trying to use those more. You know, a lot of restaurants, that's
I
how they
know.
put their menus because they don't want you to touch anything.
Well, it's because of COVID.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Life has changed.
Life has changed, yes.
But drag show coming up.
I know.
Is now this also a benefit for Northland?
It is.
Okay, we don't have that much time, but let's talk about it.
So basically, I've been doing drag shows in Prescott since 2014. We're actually turning this into a benefit for Northland Cares, and it's right before National Testing Day, which is on the 27th of June. And so we have a testathon that's going to be happening over at Northland Cares. But before that, we're going to celebrate, and we're going to be able to do a drag show on Friday and Saturday over at the Attic, which is in Prescott, and then we also are going to be doing a full benefit on Sunday over at the Raven, which is going to include food. So you get at 5:30, you get food and a drag show, and you just basically get to celebrate and get the word out on what Northland Cares does for the community.
And drag shows are so much fun.
Yeah, actually, I'm able to announce Eddie Broadway is actually coming back, a drag king. So we're adding more.
A little bit of
more.
everything. I know it's there's something for everyone out
Yes.
here, but it's supporting Northland Cares. It does amazing and tremendous work in our community.
Yep.
So this is also online.
That is also online, and it's going to be available on 4amproductions.net. But also, you'll be able to get tickets and find out more information on Northland
Doesn't
Cares.
say how much tickets are on the
So
poster.
that is actually the same pricing. So $20 online and $25 at the door.
At the okay.
Yeah, so you
But the Raven has food?
Raven does have food for that day.
Okay.
Because all of the proceeds that are actually made on the Sunday are going to go straight to Northland Cares. So
Okay.
basically, the drag queens are doing that show for free,
Okay.
and be able to do the full benefit and everything like that. And the Raven will close normally at 4:30, and then they're going to reopen for a benefit for them.
Okay, John Dunklin. John Dunklin, Development Coordinator for Northland Cares. So much going on. Again, just go to northlandcares.org for more information. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back in 2 weeks.